Okay, Kipsters, you have learned how to change decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. However, I actually want to notify you what a decimal really is. A decimal is a fraction whose denominator is a power of 10. Now we know that a fraction is a precise point on the number line, and we know the denominator is the place that is below the fraction line. So it's this place right here. And if we say it's a power of 10, what we're really saying is 10 to the 0 power is 1. 10 to the first power is 10. 10 to the second power is really 10 times 10, which is 100. 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. Notice that the power of 10 is actually giving us the amount of zeros that are in the number. So 10 to the third power has 3 zeros. 10 to the second power has 2 zeros. 10 to the first power has 1 zero, and 10 to the 0 power has 0 zeros, which is 1. Which is why 10 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, what we're going to do now is actually change our decimal into a fraction, okay? Into solely fraction form so that you see just numerator and denominator. So what do I see right here? Well, I see the number 75. That becomes my numerator. And I want to put this into a fraction form, so its denominator is power of 10. Well, how many digits do we see to the right of the decimal point? To the right of the decimal point. I see 1, 2. That means the power of 10 is 10 to the second power, which is 10 over 100. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is see if I can pull out common factors in my numerator and denominator. It just so happens that I can pull out 25 out of both of these numbers. Okay, 75 divided by 25 is 3, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. I'm looking at 3 and 4, and there's no other common factor that I can pull out other than 1. So the answer is 3/4. So 0.75 as a fraction is 3/4. Next, I see the number 0.004. Well, let's follow the steps. The first is, what is my number? I see a 4. That's in my numerator. All over, how many digits are to the right of the decimal? 1, 2, 3. That means I'm going to have 3 zeros. My denominator is a power of 10 only. That's what makes this a decimal. So I'm going to see if I can pull out a common factor out of both these, and I can pull out a 2. So let me pull out a 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. Okay. I can next pull out another common factor that they have, 2 and 500. That's 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 500 divided by 2 is 250. So the answer is 1 over 250. Okay, now that's when I was trying to change something that looks in decimal form with a decimal point to its fraction equivalent. Okay? What I'm going to do now is want to change my fraction to what I call decimal equivalent. And what I'm going to first do, because I know that the definition says a decimal is a fraction whose denominator is a power of 10, I know that I have to have a power of 10 in the denominator. So think back to our rules for equivalent fractions. I make an equivalent fraction by multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number. Let's take 10 in this case. I want to make sure that I have a denominator of whose a power of 10. I'm going to try and cross cancel now. I'm going to see if I can pull out a common factor from 4 and 10. Keeping in mind that I'm going to try to keep 10 there because I need a power of 10. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. I have 5 and 2. Can I pull out another common factor there other than 1? No. So what I'm going to do is multiply 1/4 by another power of 10. The next higher one, which is 100. Okay? Can I pull out a common factor from 4 and 100? Yes, 2. I can also pull out 4, but if you'd like to go for the smaller ones first, you can do that. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. Okay, looking at 50 and 2, I can pull out another common factor of 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Okay, I get 1 times 25 and 1 times 100. 1 times 100 is going to give me a denominator of 100. That's what I want. I want a denominator that is a power of 10. And 1 times 25 is 25. Now, looking here, what number do I see? I see 25. And how many digits have to be to the right of the decimal point? 1, 2. So 1, 2. 2 digits are to the right of the decimal point. And just for clarity, I'm going to add a 0 to let me know that I don't have any holes. 0.25 is my answer. And that's how I change 1/4 to a decimal with a decimal point. Okay? Let's try to change 3/5 to a decimal with a decimal point. I'm going to multiply by a power of 10. Let's start with 10 first. If I multiply by 10 over 10, and let's see if I can cross cancel. 5 and 10 can be divisible by 5, so 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. What is 1 times 10? 10. Just a power of 10. So I can leave that there, and 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. 6/10 now. I have a power of 10. I see the number 6, and how many digits are to the right of the decimal point? 1. Is 1 digit to the right of the decimal point? Because there's 1 0. And then just for clarity, add a 0. 0.6.